So, ladies and gentlemen, today I am so excited to introduce our next guest, the multi-talented, beautiful MC, TV host, radio host, content creator. What am I leaving out? Leigh-Anne Williams.
Hey, woo, that was amazing. Thank you so much,
Thank
Anton.
you for joining me. Can we
me.
cheers before we start?
Let's do it.
I do believe you are a lover of bubbly. So
I love me some bubbly. I really, really do. Hey, and any show where you guys are just like, lathering the vocal cords, I'm here for it.
I can invite you back then.
Always.
There'll be many more.
Congratulations to the space.
Thank you.
You're doing the things.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thanks for joining us.
Let's
it
not
really
leave
means
the bubbles
a lot. Let's
hanging,
not.
hey?
Let's
Come
go
on
for
now.
it.
Te heerlijk.
Not bad.
We're here for it.
Zalig op je tong. We were just talking about our Afrikaans.
We
How was
were
that?
talking about Afrikaans and how I'm so happy the show is in English.
Yes.
I really am.
I wouldn't not only do that to you, but to myself either. Be sabotaging both of us.
No, but we get there. We'll get there.
We will.
I think once the bubbles do its thing, dan gaan ons sommer baie Afrikaans praat.
Gaan ons tonge los wees.
Jy weet het.
So yeah, I think the whole purpose of having you today is just wanting to catch up, wanting to hear what you've been up to. Where's Leigh-Anne Williams been? I mean, you've been you've been a household name for such a long time in South Africa. And like any brand, sometimes we're on the spotlight, sometimes we decide to take a little bit of a break and be more low-key about things. So what have you been up to? What's new?
And it's interesting that you say low-key because I feel like I'm coming out of my low-key season.
Yeah.
It's always so interesting when you've, kind of like, and I've spoken about this before, when you've had your mountaintop moments. So many times we forget that before you can get to the mountaintop, you've also got to be in the valley, and the valley is where you're being tested, where you're trying new things, where you're growing, where you're figuring out where you want to go next before you get to that mountaintop. So I've been in my valley experience for a while, going through life, trying to figure out what is it that I want to do next, having spent 9 years on morning TV, waking up at 3:00 in the morning, then doing TV and doing radio and doing more TV and flying around the world. And that was a very, very exciting time of my life, one where that was one version of me. And now I think I'm stepping into another season where I get to explore different things that I want to do with my life as well. And I think that's where I'm headed to now. It's the next chapter, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, because that was kind of interesting for me because I spoke to someone recently and that's why I wanted you on the show too, because this person was like, I don't know when last I've seen Leigh-Anne Williams. What is she up to these days? But then I know I follow you on social media, so I kind of am keeping track of the things that you get up to. And I know that you do a lot. Yes. So I wanted you on the show to kind of, let us know, like, was you going back into the valley, like by choice? Was it a choice to just like pull back a bit so that you can regroup and decide what you want to do next?
I don't know if it was so much by choice, but I think it was just the natural next step.
Okay.
For me, it's really important to be intentional about the decisions that I make with my life. And so, when I stepped away from morning TV, and it's not to say that I stepped away forever, it was just necessary at that time. You get into a rut where I always feel like in life, when you do something, it's like you are the glass of water and, whatever it is you're doing, it's like sugar that goes into a glass and you stir the sugar and the sugar dissolves, which means you're still learning, you're still growing. As long as the sugar's dissolving, life is still great. You're still taking in everything that particular platform or situation gets to throw at you. Yeah. But there will come a day when that sugar will no longer dissolve. And that means saturated. You've reached saturation point. Now, a lot of people can continue with life and the sugar's just, it's mincing in there and it's no longer dissolving and it's fine. You're cushy. You're enjoying it.
Okay.
But I'm kind of the person that once I've reached that point, I need to go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
However, you don't always know what the next thing is, because you're still needing to learn the lessons that life is throwing you. So it was about, leaving that space, figuring out what is the next chapter of my story going to say, And I've always been so passionate about women. I've always been so passionate about the spaces that they hold, the mountains that they've had to climb to get to where they want to be or believe that they should be. I've always been a great just cheerleader for women that have overcome massive, massive challenges in life to reach where they are right now. And on my radio show, I've got a feature called Warrior Woman, and it's been around for several years now. But the women that I've had a chance to meet, oh my goodness, they like mind blown, the things that they have achieved in life. And I feel like that is the next kind of step for me, is taking what I do on my radio show and taking it to the next level and kind of like expanding on those stories, because all I really have is 10 minutes maybe
So
on
you
a
get
music
to speak
radio
about it for 10
show.
minutes.
Exactly. That's all I have.
And it's called what? Mighty Woman?
Warrior Woman.
Warrior Woman.
Exactly.
Okay.
But now I want to extend that. I want to give the story more opportunity to be fleshed out, you know, because I feel like it's life-changing stuff. And what I always believe and appreciate about women that have reached the top of any game is you are likely to find them taking more with them, because they know how hard it was to get to where they are. And so they're going to be pulling a lot of other women up as well to be able to occupy those spaces. So that's all that I can say right now, but I'm so excited. It's something that sets my soul on fire.
Yeah.
And my soul hasn't been set on fire for a while.
That's fascinating and a perfect time to be exploring these type of things, what women do, because
100%.
I think when we were younger, all we knew our mothers and our aunts to do is to be teachers,
100%.
bookkeepers. And now, you know, it's women are at like a pivotal time in society where they are exploring and trying different things, you know. Like I think a cousin of mine, his wife is an ROV pilot, the only female out at sea for at length of 3 to 6 months, controlling these machines, digging for oil. You know, so.
And then in the same vein, we're in 2024 still saying the words the first female. The only female too. And I think it's changing, but I didn't know that up until you just said it. How many women and young girls' minds can be blown by like, oh my goodness, I can actually do something like that. So I think we need to kind of like create these conversations, you know, create these connections, create these opportunities to show girls, wow, there's a whole world that you do not even know exists. You know, we don't just have to be this. We can be so much more.
Yeah, and we often need somebody to show us that it can be done. Somebody that represents us, looks like us, are of our gender, to wake something up in ourselves, to be like, I can do that too. I mean, it happened with me with acting. I'm sure it happened with you too, because we used to sit at castings together. Like 12, 13 years ago. I always thought you wanted to be an actress. I don't know if you still aspire to be one.
I did.
But that was,
I did. I always tell the story, you know, when I was a young girl, because there wasn't a lot of people that looked like us, you know, when we were growing up, when we watched, you know, SABC 1,
we were like the only people.
Exactly. So we didn't really have anything to go by, just a dream that we had in our hearts. And so I would always take my mom's petticoat, you know, she had a black one and she had a white one and she had a beige one. And one day I'd be a brunette and one day I'd be a blonde, and I'd act in front of the mirror, you know, because I wanted to be an actress. And I always believed that, you know, people on TV always had long hair. So that's what I had. And I always wanted to be an actress. I don't know what the correct term for it is, but I didn't know how one goes about it. And I was working at Stellenbosch University, and I was just like, I'm so unfulfilled and so unhappy in my job. Like what I did was great, but like I knew that it wasn't what I was meant to do for the rest of my life. And so I took these acting classes on the side. My very first acting coach was Aletta Besaidenout.
Of course, I know Aletta well. She's brilliant.
She's brilliant. And I used to go to her every Wednesday. And from those classes, I think I did 5 of them. She put me forward to an agency, and I did my first audition with the agency. Now you must I needed to train for this.
Was it a monologue?
It was, yes. And I think I did the Blair Witch Project. Oh my goodness. And it was so crazy how you're able to transport not only people that are watching you to a place, but also yourself to a place. And I realized why so many actors maybe struggle with their characters and letting go of a character, because I was fully in that moment, I was just like, damn. I feel like I'm in the forest right now and something's outside
with your camera
and it's about to come for me, you know, because you've taken yourself to that place and to that space. So I just realized how important authenticity is. And I've never really had another opportunity. I know that I did my first acting experience in a show called League of Glory. Siv and Gessie was in there as well. That was my very first one.
Was that a soccer show?
It was a soccer show in 2010.
That's the first time I saw Siv.
Exactly. And I played a nurse there, of course. You know, I played a nurse. And it was so interesting. All of my scenes were shot on a Saturday.
That was based in Stellenbosch.
It was based in Stellenbosch.
I remember that show, yeah.
And that's where I just fell in love with it. But I think the reason why I stopped is like every other role was, you know, as a colored person, I didn't know why I'm only getting roles as like a gangster's girlfriend, you know, or like a taxi queen, or I'm just like, when are we going to get roles where I am the CEO of a multi-international company, or I am the president, or
like,
I
without
am a
making
superhero.
less of lower professions, but like there are other things that we are.
There
doctors,
are other things
lawyers
that we can be and can play. And I just didn't feel comfortable anymore that this was the only roles I was getting or being offered. And when I was in that role, I had to speak a certain way because that's how brown people speak. And I just said, you know what, we really need to inspire our young people that there's more out there, you know, that there are greater roles that we can be playing and pursuing. It doesn't just have to be this pigeonholed character that I am playing. And I think that's the reason why I just stopped.
You think that turned you off?
It turned me off a little bit. I'm like, I think there are other stories we can tell. It doesn't just have to be this one. And those stories are important. They really, really are, because it's life. It's what's happening right now. It is the situation in so many of the neighborhoods that we live in. It's inescapable. Yeah. But can we tell other stories too?
Because I think that as long as we tell those stories and keep telling just those stories, that's where we'll remain.
100%.
If you tell aspirational things like this is what you could look like, we will also aspire to be something else.
100%.
So
I am available for the next Marvel movie if you want to. You know, who hasn't been played yet?
Now it's out there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you would make an amazing Wonder Woman or like some powerful.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know, thanks, Gal. It's been real. Leigh-Anne's here now, so.
Yeah, facts. I was actually going to say, like, you are always so polished and well put together. Like, I can't even picture a Leigh-Anne like at home in sweats, just chilling, makeup off, hair.
You want to see that,
no, I'm sure it's a beautiful side of you, but I'm just like, whenever I've seen you over the years, you've always been so well put together, very well spoken, polished human being. Yeah. Is that like, because I know your mother's in the industry as well as a radio host, and she's a public figure as well. Like, do you think that kind of played a part in the woman that you ultimately became?
Yeah, I think, you know, for me, when I'm at home, it's my sanctuary, you know, that's like my safe space. So there I can kind of like remove all the layers that the world requires of us, because essentially we're all like those Russian dolls. We're like, you know, something within something, something within something. You know, we have so many hats that we wear every single day, and we juggle so much, especially in this industry. You know, we're not just one thing. We're many things.
In South Africa.
Exactly.
We have to do a lot.
So when I go home and I take it all off, you know, that is Leigh-Anne.
Yeah.
And so few people get to see that one, because that one is ompar sokis. That one is like, you know, that don't match with that. You know, it's just, but that's the space that I recharge in. And then I can come back and I can do all of this. I'm a very private individual, really very private. I share very little about my life or at home, and I choose that, you know, I choose that because we give so much of ourselves away every day, because we are so public. You know, we can't really walk down the road and melt into a crowd of people, you know, and the loss of anonymity it's a massive price to pay. I don't think people realize when they get into this industry. Everybody wants to be seen and known, but you don't understand the beauty and the freedom of being able to blend into a crowd. You know, and we always grew up where they said, don't blend in, you need to stand out. I'm just like, child, standing out is expensive. You got to look good. You got to take care of yourself. And plus it's like, oh, hello, Leigh-Anne. I remember, like, I thought I could go to Thailand and blend in. Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Child, go walk down Bungalow Road and there's Leigh-Anne from Esprsso. I'm like, bro, I traveled for 24 hours and y'all still recognizing me.
So you can never switch off.
You can never switch off, you know.
And every time, do you also find that every time you're seen, you need to be seen in something else?
100%.
Because they attack you for that. Like events, you have to wear a different dress at every single
Google
event.
yourself after you've worn one dress to the same event, like maybe just on 2 occasions.
Yeah.
You just see that one and it's like, oh, does she have nothing else?
They'll troll you.
You know, so it's an expensive journey. We enjoy it, but I think there's a lot that you have to take into consideration when you get into this industry that you maybe did not know before.
Yeah. And Esprsso especially was like, I mean, you were one of the founding or the first people, if not the first host of Espresso.
I wasn't.
Show,
No. I kind of came in after the initial guys. It was Michael Moll was there, Liesel van der Westhuizen, Kia Johnson.
So it was like the guys from Tobbeling.
Yes, yes. So they were all there, and then I was kind of like brought in. I think at a time when everybody was doing different things. So they were kind of stretched. And then they brought in a new presenter, like just to present on the show for a week. I'd never had TV training before. I did radio, but I'd never had TV training. So I didn't understand, you know, the whole, you know, in-ear comms and someone speaking to you and you're talking, but someone's talking to you. And I think the very first day that I was on air, I didn't understand that you could turn the levels down really low.
Yeah.
So the first time the director gave me an instruction, it was loud, and I think on live TV, because I was like having a little moment there. Yeah. And having to continue talking while you're taking in an instruction and having to read a teleprompter and do all of these things, it was crazy. It was crazy, but it was the best way to learn. And after that week, I thought I did really bad. I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm the worst. They're probably so thankful that I'm done. They'll never call me. At least I can put it on my CV now. I did live TV for a week. Yeah. And the very next Monday, they called me and they were like, listen, we'd love to have you back. You know, can you do a little 3-minute insert for us called Couch Potato? And I came in every single day for a month to do 3 minutes of live TV. That's all I did. And everybody was just like, oh, you're crazy. Like, that's nothing. It's like, you know, a breath and then it's done. And I'm like, well, that's my opportunity to learn and to grow. And then from there, I just never left.
And then that
I think they're still asking today, did that girl not just come here for 3 minutes of TV and she's still on 9 years later?
9 years? Is that how long you stayed?
Later, yeah.
Because it was you and Katlego. You guys were the main hosts, yeah?
I don't think there was ever like really main hosts because everybody was capable, you know, to do. I think certain people were seen as the main hosts, but I think when that person wasn't there, the show didn't stop. It still continued. So everybody has to be able to wear all hats. But I do think certain people kind of were looked as the main ones when it wasn't really the case. Everybody, I think, should be the main one. Yeah. You know, because they can all, they're all capable of doing everything at any time. Yeah. You know?
I wanted to touch on something. Like your mom actually DM'd me.
Did
once.
She?
Yeah, I mean, we're old family friends. Our parents attend the same churches.
We grew up in Belhar.
Yeah. I mean, we both grew up in Belhar. Like, you know, I know your cousins, your family.
Your sister went with my cousin. They were matric ball partners.
Yeah, Alton. Alton and my sister were matric ball partners. Yeah. So we come a long way. So and I'm going to touch on this briefly because I don't want to make it the focal point, but when after Katlego's scandal, your mom was like, Anton, you should go up for outsurance again. Because I remember when you were the outsurance guy, I actually bought the product because and I was like, I'm pretty sure they're not looking for another male to do it after the scandal. And thank God. I mean, Katlego's like doing better than ever now. He's back on the rise. But I just thought it was so sweet of her to reach out to I didn't even know your mom.
She loved you doing those. Honestly, she loved you. And I think just for anybody watching those outsurance, like just to see you there was just like, whoa. that's like, he's ours.
It was it just feels like another lifetime ago, because I used to do it for like 3 years before I moved to America. And then when I was there,
but you were like the brown Tom Cruise when you were doing it, because it wasn't yours like always, you were like in a helicopter, and then you were like
doing some adventurous thing.
Stuff, like honestly.
I was doing shark cage diving, I was doing bungee jumping. There was always something adventurous. It was very cool. It was very fun.
Honestly, you made it so cool. Like, it was just seeing you doing that. We were like very, very proud.
Yeah, it was a good gig while it lasted.
Yeah.
It was very
exactly.
cool. Yeah. So next thing is like, what next? What are you looking forward to most?
I think for me, I'm open. You know, I'm open to what is next.
Yeah.
I think I've gone through so much in the last few years. I think as has every human being on this planet, especially after COVID. COVID, I think, knocked us all for a six. I don't think we ever thought in the history of our lives that we would be in a place where we are locked down, where you literally cannot go out. You cannot do things. Everything stops. I don't think we ever thought that we could be there. So
how did you navigate that? Like, how did you?
I was fortunate because I still had my radio show.
Oh, okay.
So like we got like paperwork and we could be out and about, which was fantastic. Driving on the N2.
That was like the best gig to have during COVID. Like, you're on radio. It's just like you're in your booth.
First day of lockdown when everybody had to be, I was on that N2. I owned it. It was mine. It was the best. Just tumbleweeds blowing across the road and me. So that, that was fantastic. And I still got to be out and about. So that was wonderful. Everybody else had to work from home and yada, yada, yada. So I never ever was truly locked down, but I knew that there were people that were going through a lot because radio became their safety net.
Yeah.
So many people listened to the radio. We were their friends. We were their family. We were the closest thing that they had to a connection with other people.
The outside world.
So that's why radio became so special. But I had just left morning TV. It was 9 years of my life. I was going through a lot personally at the time as well. So I had to find myself and I had to, come to terms with a lot of things that I didn't deal with, traumas that I hadn't dealt with from childhood, et cetera, et cetera. So the last few years really have been me doing a lot of self-work.
Yeah.
And it's been sitting with a lot of uncomfortable feelings, dealing with a lot of things that I had maybe pushed under the carpet or maybe thought, maybe because I've been a Christian my whole life, I'm exempt from, having to deal with things because God takes care of everything. You still have to deal with things. There's still hurts and traumas that are still there. You still have to deal with it. It's your responsibility to deal with those things. And I feel like I've been doing the work for a long time. And because I've been doing the work for a long time and I'm now emerging from doing the work, everything is exciting for me. Everything is open to me. And I feel like I'm like a blank canvas now. The only difference is I don't want to be the person where you tell me, sit there, move here, go there, do this, say that. I want to be in control of where I go, what I say, how I say it, to whom I am saying it.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
Yeah.
So I get many offers every day and I'm just like, I'm not that person anymore. I don't want to be like, good evening and welcome.
Yeah.
I'm not.
It's always that hand.
Yeah,
Good night, God bless, goodbye.
I really want to have more control of the narrative now.
So this is like the reinvention of you. Do you feel like that COVID period like brought you closer to God, closer to who your A-team is? Because I find like that's what it did to me. Like when everything went to shit, who could I rely on during those times? I could go home. 100%. I could go to my family.
Yeah.
Could pray. All of those things I started realizing what's like my priorities in life again. Like I moved, my plan was to come back to LA, from LA for 6 months, go back home to LA, which was home at the time. Then COVID happened and I stayed home and I moved in with my family and it was wonderful. We were like 15 people in one house. My sisters moved in with their kid. It was festive. It was festive all the time. And then I booked work and I moved to Joburg, and I was fortunate enough to have a job during COVID as well. But again, like, it just showed me the importance of, or at least who is and what is the most important things in life. That's what it taught me.
100%.
So
100%.
it seems to have done the same.
And also, it's like when you're emerging and you're becoming this different person, or maybe this person that's leveling up into another, facet of life, is you also realize that some people are going to fall away. A lot of the relationships that you had, you can't take with you, because you're moving in a different area.
Yeah.
Not everybody is going into that same space that you're going
People
to. So
fall
there is a
off
moment of
at the-
mourning that
yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
It's like every day I feel like I'm attending a funeral for who I was. And that's hard. That's realizing this friendship, still love the person, but like it's not going anywhere. And I have to be okay with letting this person go and maybe moving into a space where I can't necessarily be with the same people anymore. And I haven't yet met the people that I'm going to be going into my future with. So it's that in between that's really, really hard.
Yeah.
But it's all part of life. It's all part of growth. It's all part of accepting that I am becoming a new version of myself, and just letting it happen. I don't freak out. Like, I used to be such a control freak about everything in life. And I feel like God was actually just saying, it's either you or me, bro. Yeah. You can be a control freak for as long as you want. Are you getting any younger? No. Yeah. So how about you just let go and let God?
And let God. There we go.
Just let go and let God. I'm a genius. I know what I'm doing. Did you not out of nowhere end up on Esprsso show? Yeah. Was it you? Was it me? Kind of thing. It wasn't me, that's for sure, because I didn't put myself there. So every facet of my life, I have to realize that God's a genius. He knows what he's doing. Relax. Doesn't mean that you don't do the work. You still do the work.
It's tough to do though, like especially if you are naturally somebody who loves control.
Yes.
Because you want to control your destiny, control the outcome of every single situation.
And to relinquish that is hard.
To let go of that is very hard. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
But you have to.
Yeah, you got to.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because his plans are better than yours.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Yeah. By trusting yourself, you're actually limiting yourself.
100%.
By allowing yourself to dictate where to next.
Yeah. It's like that picture that we all saw, growing up. It's like, here's, Jesus, and here's you, and you've got the little teddy bear, and he's got the big teddy bear, and he's like, just give it to me.
Yeah.
I've got something better for you.
Yeah.
And
but
you're
trusting.
just like, really? Do I have to? But when you do,
yeah,
mind blown.
Yeah. No,
mind
facts.
blown.
True.
Dear Mom, you're my best friend, okay? You're the funniest person I met in the whole world. I love it when we play together, and my favorite is when we play makeup. You sometimes make me angry, sir, but that's okay. Nobody's perfect. When I'm older, I want to be pretty like you. Happy birthday, Mom.
So yeah, you gotta bring me back in like episode 22.
Yeah,
I'll probably have something a bit more solid for you then.
I would love to see where you're at then. But yeah, that's exciting.
I think very few people, talk about this space of being in between.
Spirituality or
just the space of being not where you were, not yet where you want to go. But knowing that something better is coming.
Yeah.
And I think people find it so uncomfortable, so unpleasant. You have all these questions. Maybe you're unhappy. Maybe you're raging at where you are right now, and you see other people and you watch the gram. The gram's the worst. Everybody's happy on the gram.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy.
And you cannot compare yourselves to that. Like,
and they're literally taking a moment. They're taking a moment. I know that I had this friend once. They went away. They went away on holiday. And of the, let's say, 2 weeks that they were away, one of their kids got so ill, right? And there was one day literally that was good of the entire experience. And all you saw on the gram was that one day of goodness spread throughout maybe a few posts. I, behind the scenes, know the true situation.
Yeah.
right? But for you who don't know them, we're like, you're living.
Time of their lives.
Living la vida loca. Oh, my life is so junk. Oh, I haven't gone away. But you don't know really what they've gone through because people don't put the bad stuff on.
Yeah.
They don't put the challenging stuff, the uncomfortable stuff. Everybody's
become
making
so toxic, man. Like it's become so toxic. Like
we
are comparing ourselves to these people on a daily basis, and it's like a level of life that's unattainable.
Yeah.
It's not, nobody is that happy all the time.
No
or
one is
wearing
that
much designer around the clock.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
like,
and it'll make you seriously question where you're at in life.
Yeah.
And not value your own journey, and that everybody's journey is different, you know? But it is what it is. That's why I try to not spend too much time on there. But also I always see people that I don't follow. Know what's going on with Instagram and my algorithm. Xing for you. I'm like, who are you? I don't even know you. And you're there. You know, so
it's almost like against your will. Like it's just like, yeah, look at that, look
exactly,
at that. Yeah.
Exactly. And the people that I genuinely love, I don't ever see their stuff. So I have to go and look for it.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's the way Instagram is just getting us to follow a whole bunch of people, right?
And I remember back, again, a couple of years ago where you used to spend a lot. We used to gym. Both of us were at Virgin Active Greenpoint, I think it was. And I used to see you on the treadmill. And
when I
think you used to say that was like your therapy. Like, what do you do now to like stay sane? Or like, do you still train as much? You look fantastic.
Thank you.
So what are you doing?
Look, I'm getting back into it. Okay. There was a period where, you know,
yeah, you were obsessed for a second. Or like, I mean, when you were on. You were killing it.
But also when you're on TV, you have to take more care because, you know, you're in that space where you have to look good.
Yeah.
You've got to be in the gym. You know, television already adds, 10 pounds, so you can't not. So I had a different motivation back then. And now I find myself being motivated by, we're getting older. We're getting older. And I said to my mom, one of the important things for me is getting older well. Because we are going to get to the point one day where we are 75, 80, 85. And I feel like if I'm not doing enough now to make sure that my muscles are strong, that my bones are healthy, that I'm fit, the day that I get to that, be it in 40 years,
it's too late.
I don't want to be in makar. I don't want to be unhealthy because my grandfather once said to me before he passed away, he said, Leigh-Anne, getting older is not for sissies. Or not getting older, but getting old is not for sissies. And I see people that are that age and they're doing it well. They made the right decisions because it's tough enough. Your body is going to stop doing certain things, producing certain things. It's tough enough. I don't want to add to that by living and making bad decisions now when it's gonna catch me out then. So it's not for TV. It's not for a man. It's not for anybody else. It's for Leigh-Anne. Because I want to take care of myself because the only person that's going to be with me till the end
is you.
Is me.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do you have any secrets or any things that you can share with the audience of like your dietary tips or things that you do to remain
I feel the way you're talking about me right now. It's like I don't deserve it.
You know you do. You look amazing.
Thank you. I
really
appreciate
do.
that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. You know what? Sometimes I feel like we forget that we already know what we need to do. We already know what it takes to be healthy, to be fit, to be all of those things. So for me right now, the space that I'm in is starting tomorrow, we always say, starting tomorrow, but legit,
always on
I'm
a
going to
Monday.
start tomorrow, always on a Monday and end on a Tuesday. But I want to follow the path of the Daniel fast for a little bit.
Okay.
Not necessarily the fast so much as the fast too, but the focusing on eating fruits, eating vegetables, eating very clean, letting go of the processed stuff just for a while.
Okay.
Because I tried it. I think in 2020, I did it for maybe 12 weeks.
The
Best 12
results?
weeks of my life.
Really?
Oh my goodness. Not only did I lose weight, but my skin was glowing, my eyes were bright, my teeth were white. I went to sleep well. I woke up well. I had all this energy, no bloat. Life was great, you know? And what I also realized about it is, you know, when you eat food in its healthiest, most whole state, it's so delicious. You know, fruit becomes sweeter, vegetables are flavorful, and you can do such great things with vegetables because they're such great carriers of flavor. So that's where I'm going to be.
Okay.
For a while,
Yeah.
And when
please post about it though, because these are things that we want to see. We want to follow, like, these little tips.
You know, when we see each other in season 2, episode 5.
Yes.
It's going to be real.
You're going to be
I'm speaking it into
glowing,
existence. You see what I did there?
Yeah, you
Season
are.
2,
Manifest.
come on now. Hello.
Yeah, for both of us.
Exactly.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah. But you know what? Like, I'm so proud of what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Like, I know that, these podcasts are growing in popularity. And for me, it's so important to see our people just go forth and do great things.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very proud of you. Like, just watching your career as well and the things that you've done. It's exceptional and it's inspirational. And I never want us to forget that, there's a lot of people that look up to us at the same time.
Yeah.
I see it every single day. When I used to work for UWC and I used to do school visits and career visits, that was the closest that I ever got to like grassroots level circumstances. We don't really see that now, because our lives don't really take us to a lot of those areas that are challenged, and that are in great need of help and assistance. But it was eye-opening for me because so many times I would speak to students and, when you grow up like that, you don't think that there's a lot of hope for you, that you're going to be able to achieve things in life. You don't even know that you can achieve things in life. Many young people grow up in areas where they're born there, they grow up there, they go to school there, they get married there, they die there, and that's the sum total of their lives. Yeah. And they don't know that there is a big world out there that is just filled with opportunities and, ways that they can grow and expand as human beings. And I feel like if we've got one thing that we can show, kids that grew up like us, on the grassroots in Belhar and communities like that, is that not even the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
There is nothing that you can, and it's not that what we do is the end all and be all.
Yeah.
There's other insanely amazing careers as well.
Because there's still downs in what we do.
Yeah.
Like, people don't realize that. Like,
they don't.
Because with me, there were times when like I did everything I could to get out of Belhar and get out of the usual progression of what we are supposed to do as people of color from those neighborhoods. Yes. And still, like 10 years later, you hit those downs in your career and you're like, damn, I can see why people do what they do in the communities to get by and whatever, because it's just so hard to catch a break. Yeah, like that's really why people do like opt for criminality or things that, but like I said, like it's what I'd like to think that we are, I guess, set an example to show people that we can do something else, something off the beaten path. Yeah. And
maybe you won't inspire everyone.
You won't.
But you will inspire someone.
Someone will, that's always been the mission. Like if one person listens, you've done your job.
Exactly.
Were you saying that you studied something first? Because like I know I went to university first. I went to UWC, studied finance. UW-dubs. University of the Wild Colours.
Yeah.
And then I did the whole like undergrad BCom finance. I did postgrad finance, economics, information systems. And then I dropped out and was like, I want to do this acting thing. And my mother was like, are you crazy?
Feel about that,
no, they wanted to kill me. My mother was like, this is what you can do as a hobby. This is not what you're going to do under my roof. You're going to go get a job while you want to go and act there and see what comes from it. But then, like anything, we have to unfortunately prove to our parents that this is something you can actually do for a living. And the first time they see it is when they see you on TV and you're making money from it. But it takes a while to get there.
And it takes a lot of courage as well. It takes a lot of courage to step away from the beaten track, because we all know how important academics is.
Yeah.
And now you have the opportunity, maybe the first in your family, to go there. And then you just decide like, actually, you know what? I don't want to follow this path that can probably give me a steady job one day that's going to pay me a good salary. I want to go into the very unknown world of acting.
The most unpredictable thing you can do,
100%.
Like salary-wise.
Yes.
When you're up and things are great, but when you're down, it's ultra down. So how do you maintain that your sanity in those times? Like you say, you've been at the top of the hill and you've also
100%.
been in the valleys.
Yeah,
so.
I remember the early days. The early days of leaving a steady job, one that, if I just stuck with it. I could probably do it up until I retired.
What is the steadiest job you've ever had?
Well, I worked in recruitment and marketing, you know. So if I kept with that, chilled. Would my soul have been happy? No, she would be dying a little every single day, you know, if I stuck with it, because it did not make me happy. It did not bring me joy. But if happiness and joy were not a focus in life, hey, stick with it, right?
Yeah.
You're getting paid. Unfortunately for me, happiness and joy are a huge part of life. So I left the job, and there were 8 months of struggle after that. 8 months of going to auditions, 8 months of getting in a little bit of money here. I still had my radio gig on a weekend. Thank God for that, because without that, might have been living on the street.
What year was that?
That was, I think, maybe 2006, 2007.
That was before I entered the game.
Yeah. And it was every single day of those 8 months, I said to myself, did you maybe make a mistake? You know, and then the impostor syndrome kicks in, where you go, who do you think you are to think that you can leave a job that was paying you a salary to go and try to be an actor or a TV presenter? Who do you think you are? Do you not look in the mirror? Do you not look at where you live? What is your station in life? Did your dad not leave? And you're just like, oh, I made a mistake. Am I going to have to go back to my place of employment that I left and beg for my job back? Is that the lesson maybe? And then you stick it through, because you're just like, this decision did not come overnight. I wrestled with it for a long time. So if I wrestled with it for 8 months, stick it out maybe for 8 months and see what happens.
And people don't realize how long it takes to actually book that first gig.
They don't realize.
I was driving up and down for 3 years, I think, before I booked my first commercial.
Let me tell you. And the rejection and becoming comfortable with rejection, because that's all you get in the beginning is rejection.
I thought that acting was like a privileged white boy thing.
Yes.
Because these were the only kids whose parents can afford to put them in AFDA, UCT,
100%.
School of the Arts. When I told my mother I wanted to do drama when I was in matric, she was like, I'm not paying 50,000 Rand a year for you to go and try and do this thing that 100%. Might not provide you an income one day. You are going to UWC. So I went to UWC. And then when I wanted to finally do this acting thing, I used to drive up and down from Bellart to town to act with these kids from the Atlantic seaboard. And then the imposter syndrome you spoke about, I felt so out of place. I felt unworthy. I felt less than them. I mean, these are kids with means. I'm like driving in there with my father's little car. And so it takes a lot of work to finally feel like you are enough.
It does. But you know, imposter syndrome will meet you at every pivotal stage of your life. You know, I remember when I got into university, I had come from Belhar High School, you know, which is, you know, it's a school on the Cape Flats. And
so you went to Belhar?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
School on the Cape Flats. But when I got to university, I was with students that had gone to schools that were not on the Cape Flats. And you could see how different we were.
Definitely.
In how much more they knew, how more learned they were, because, you know, my teachers sometimes didn't show up for school. My maths teacher hated us. So he would come to school and he would just read the newspaper, and we would go on and we're like, no maths, until it's exam time and you're like, damn.
Stress.
We got no maths. You know, had several different accounting teachers throughout my schooling career. All the subjects where you really need a foundation. You need consistency. You need someone that's going to teach you in the same way, so that, because everybody's got a different way of learning things. So when I got to matric, I realized, I know very little, you know, so I had to get tutors to come in and go back to the beginning, teach me the foundations of what I didn't learn because of my messy schooling that I had.
It's such a ripple effect though, because as you get older, that insecurity is like so palpable, because when I finished even at UWC, decent tertiary institution, but now all of a sudden I'm in a boardroom going up against kids who are at UCT
100%.
and they are stepping in there with like dogs with like tails up with confidence. And I'm from UW. They're confident. I'm from UWs and I'm sitting there and I'm already feeling like sorry that I'm here.
Yeah.
Like you know, and I never ever got any of those jobs, even though I had like a half honors and finance and all of that. So it did take a while. And I think it's an ongoing thing for me. I think I'm still working on that, you know, feeling completely comfortable in my skin in those rooms.
And people won't say it. Like, so that
we'll
look at you.
You get better at hiding it on the outside.
Exactly.
But on the inside.
Yeah. We'll look at you and we're like, you know, looking good. And, you know, and no one knows the internal struggle with identity that you have, that we all have.
We all got that mask on.
All of us. And that is why it's so important to keep on pushing and achieving, because like the only person in that ring with you is yourself.
Yeah.
Like we said, you are your own worst enemy and your own biggest cheerleader. Facts. You know, when I was doing Strictly Come Dancing, which I did as well, I remember after every dance, you go to Facebook, because Instagram was just starting, but Facebook was like the thing, right?
Yeah.
So
what year was that?
That was 2015.
Yeah, 2015. Facebook.
So then you would read the comments and there'd be 200 comments, right? 199 of those comments were like, you guys were amazing. Well done. You're awesome. One comment will be like, you're so full of yourself.
Yeah.
And what comment do you think you focus on the most?
That one will derail you.
100%.
Yeah.
And I would immediately feel insecure. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, this person doesn't like me. Like, And then my dance partner said to me, so Leigh-Anne, you're so focused on this one negative comment. Do the other 199 that took the same amount of time, who wrote probably way more about how inspiring you were, do they not matter?
Yeah.
And I was just like, we focus so much on the negative. And you have to learn the balance of whether it's good or whether it's not good. It doesn't define who I am. Because now, okay, you're like, cool, the one doesn't matter, but the 199, I'm going to dance, monkey dance for all of them. Yeah. No, you have to find that sweet spot of like, thank you, everyone. I still know who I am, whether you like me or whether you don't. And that's a hard place to get to.
And how do you combat that now? Do you like just stay away from going to read comments? Because I kind of do that.
Yeah.
I would like to say that I'm strong enough just to go and read all the shit people talk about me, but I refuse to go on Twitter after I do a show, after I do a movie. I don't want to know what anybody's saying.
Well, you need to have Denise as your mama.
I need to have a little sit down with Denise.
Denise reads through all the comments, will also comment to those people, but then she'll say to me, oh, Auntie so-and-so commented, and then you stopped just before her, now she's going to feel bad. Yeah. So I understand that, like, I have to go and read the comments, but I also have to just leave it there.
Yeah.
It doesn't define me. I don't live for it. And I'm so thankful that I don't live for it, because a lot of people live for their next post that they're going to put, because it feeds something deep inside them that they need. They need the applause of people. They need the attention. They need that. So constantly, let me post, because it's giving me something.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
That validation.
I don't need that validation, because I also know that as much as you love me tomorrow, you could hate me tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
So I don't live for the validation that comes from social media. For me, it is a monetized space. I understand that. It is a business. I will post when I need to. I'll post fun things. I'll do fun stories, but I don't live for it. I don't live for it, because it's not my private world on there.
Yeah.
You very seldom go and see me like, ooh, I'm on the toilet pot. No, I'm never going to be posting things like that.
Yeah.
Because that's not my private world. It's not meant for that.
Okay.
You know, so I think when you can find yourself being happy with leaving it there and not needing something from it. And sometimes when I need something from it, I need to be like, Leigh-Anne, why?
Isn't that the funny thing though with
people
with
to
anything?
Go, ooh, about you, like what's missing?
Even with relationships, when you need something or when you're like overly attached to something, it repels you.
Yes.
When you, with anything in life, with work, as soon as you like, I don't know, take a flight out of the country, all of a sudden the phone doesn't stop ringing as soon as you leave.
True.
From productions that want you, that people that need you. I don't know what that is with the universe. It's like you need to like work on the skill of being less needy for things. I don't know if you find that to be the case as well.
I find usually when I'm in a space where I don't need something, that's when it comes.
Yeah.
When I'm in a space of I don't, and it's not to like wanting it is one thing, but not needing it, you know? And it's usually like when I want something so much and I work so hard to try and make it happen in my own strength, it's not going to happen.
It's so weird.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
The minute I release it, let it go, then all of a sudden like
comes knocking.
La, 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 and I'm just like, wow, is it that easy?
Yeah.
Is it that easy?
Crazy.
You know? So let it go. It'll come when it's right, when the time is right.
Facts, right? And what's next? Like what would you like to see happen next? Are you would you ever step back into the acting space?
100%. I will. Like, you know, like I'm going to get the Marvel role now. We
spoke about it. Yeah, no,
definitely.
that's happening.
Gal's taking a break.
For sure.
You know?
So Godot sit down.
We need a brown Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So I would love to get back into the acting space. I would love to, you know, get back into TV again. It was, you know, when it's a mission, when it's laborious, when you don't enjoy it anymore, then it's not fun. Now I feel like I can get back into a space where I'm excited for it again, where I'm energized, where I have something new to say. And I'm also keen to share new stories and hear from people. Like I'm genuinely interested in people. And that's, I think, one of the things that you can sometimes see with TV, you know, when people are doing an interview and you can just see, oh, they're talking to me, but they're not here. You know, they're not genuinely interested in what I have to say. I feel like I'm genuinely interested.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gleaning,
like
I'm learning from you.
Some people listen to listen and some listen to respond.
Listen to ask the next question, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it again, which is great for me. So TV 100%, businesses. Like I've started in.
But you are an entrepreneur, right? Somebody told me recently that you are.
Yes,
you have a couple of businesses going.
So that, you know, that was also a process of learning, failing forward, because there was a lot of failure. There were hard lessons that I was learning in the meantime as well. Because again, didn't study these things, just say, hey, you know, let's start a business, not knowing anything about business, you know, and learned a lot there. And I always say never a failure. Always a lesson. Yeah. Always a lesson. So I learned a lot of lessons. So man, I feel like I've just been like reborn, and I just want to do anything and everything, including going to Machu Picchu for my birthday. I mean, who doesn't want to do a 3-day hike, you know, up the Andes Mountains?
Oh, when is your birthday?
It's in June.
In June? Oh, okay. Cool.
So
it's also around the corner.
If anybody wants to
join?
send me, not just join, but send me.
Okay.
I would love to do that. I also wanted to go to the Amazon. I mean, standard. Who doesn't want to go to the Amazon? Live with a tribe, you know, have a chef cook you some of the foods. There's a million ways to die, but if you survive, I'm sure it's awesome.
I love how American artists get to do those things so easily. Like I read Matthew McConaughey's book recently, and I think it's just like the remuneration that they get. They're able to like do a film or do one project and just disappear for months. Like he went to the Amazon. He just packed up one day and went to the Amazon for a couple of months, and he came back, and then he went to Africa for another couple of months. We don't get to do that as often. I don't.
But also, like white people are very adventurous.
They are.
They didn't grow up in the hood, so
we've had our adventure.
Like dodging bullets.
Yeah,
on a day,
maybe that's why we try and stay away from anything risky.
So we're like, why are we doing that? You know, because we know what it's like to grow up every day in danger,
trying to survive.
Yeah, but I mean, they do that. They do disappear. I remember many years ago, Julia Roberts also did that. She went to live with a tribe in Mongolia and like lived with them, you know, slept where they slept, ate what they ate. I would.
So you would do that?
I would.
You would do it?
I would.
Like an eat, pray, love situation, or like something more rough?
Just
like
because I think there's so many stories that we haven't heard. Okay. There's so many cultures that we haven't experienced, you know? So why I'm in my single, you know, unattached phase.
So she is single.
Live a little.
That's just been confirmed.
Is she?
Ladies and
no,
gentlemen.
she is.
She though?
She is. She is. Yeah,
okay.
no, she is.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
But it's fun. I'm excited for the future. I think if there's anything that comes from this, it's just being excited for the future and what the future holds.
Yeah.
You know, right now I'm just taking every day as it comes, enjoying it, my brother.
You said you're an auntie now.
Yes, I'm an auntie now. Yeah, my brother had a babaiki. Well, not alone.
He didn't have it alone. I think you can have these things alone these days.
You can actually. You can.
Yeah.
So Carter's the new little love of my life. He is.
What's his name?
Carter.
Oh, nice.
Carter Nicholas. He is the most extraordinary little person. And I think, you're so amazed at how, little ones look at the world. And everything is an opportunity to learn, from touching something, the texture of it, to eating, tasting, smelling. They're experiencing things for the first time. And I just thought one should never lose that excitement to learn and that curiosity, So he inspires me all the time. He inspires me. He calls me Nini. That's my name, Nini. So he can't say L yet, so it's Nini. But he's the love of my life right now, and he's everything.
That's so awesome. I've also been lucky enough to be able to live vicariously through my sisters and their kids. I don't have kids of my own, but I get what you mean, like the curiosity and like the innocence of children, just watching them,
Yeah, exactly.
Would you like kids of your own? Is the next question.
I would. And twins run in our family.
Oh, really?
So they've skipped Dale. Thanks, Dale.
Yeah.
So they skipped him. So I think it might be me.
Chances are.
Yeah. And I dreamt about them once.
Okay.
I dreamt about twin boys. So who knows? Exciting, for any gentleman that's out there. You know what's coming. You know what's coming. Best make sure that bank balance is going to be able to take care of them children. Because I want to be present. I want to be a present mom.
Would you want to be like stay at home, have your own business at home?
They will keep me busy enough. So at least for the first 2-3 years of their life, I want to be there. I want to experience it all. I know that it's not possible for a lot of women. I come from a single parent family. So I know the challenges that come with having to work and raise kids at the same time. I think it's a luxury that not everyone can afford to have. But in a perfect world, if I could afford to have that luxury, I really would. I would love to just be able to be there, especially if there's two of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll get that opportunity. Only God knows.
Yeah.
But if I had a choice, I would be like, I'd like to be at home for at least the first 3 years.
Okay. Wow.
I know.
Yeah. But that's exciting though. Lots to look forward to.
It is.
So I've got one more question for you.
Yeah.
If you had any advice you could give the audience today, what would that be? Like for somebody who has a desire to follow in your footsteps, what would you tell them?
So the only advice that sticks out for me when anybody ever asks me that question takes me back to my high school years. So I had a fringe, right? I had a fringe, and the fringe always went this way. Still is, right? Still, fringe always went this way. And I remember one day, girls at school started making fun of me for my fringe. That was always, they were like, oh, you've got the same hairstyle every day, the same hairstyle.
Hey, high school's brutal.
Let me tell you, them children. And I went home and I sat in the mirror and I was doing something else with my hair. I was trying to do it in a different style. And my mom got home and she was just like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, I need to do something else with my hair because the girls were making fun of me and they said like, I've got the same look and everything. And my mom said to me, Leigh-Anne, if you change yourself today because of those goals, you'll change yourself for the rest of your life for other people. She says, is that something that you like? Is that something that you appreciate about yourself? Keep it until the day that you want to change it. But you'll be chopping and changing yourself every single day to please other people. And I think that's the one thing that's kind of stood with me is if I change who I am because you don't like me, I won't ever know who I am.
Wow.
So it's don't live for other people.
Yeah.
Don't live for the applause or the validation of other people. Live for yourself.
Yeah, because with billions of opinions out there, you're just going to become a diluted version of yourself.
A mess.
Never,
that's always what's kind of stuck with me is, people are going to love you or they're not going to love you. It is what it is. Do you love you?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Do you love you? And that's kind of the advice that I've taken with me. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I don't, but the message still stays the same.
That's fantastic advice. That's good advice.
Go to Nice.
What a way to end. Oh, is that
Drops mic, walks away. That was the Denise
strikes again.
Through.
Wow.
Denise is coming through here, hey?
Okay.
Yeah.
We got to get Denise on the show next.
Should.
Thank you again. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope to see you soon. I'm very proud of you, proud of what you are doing. And yeah, we'll be watching.
Thank you. Well, now that I know where you live, Joe, I'm going to be here all the time. And now that I know what's happening on the show, I'm going to be here all the time.
This was
ching ching.
This was for you, by the way.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Love it here.
Bye-bye.
Kom weer in toe.
Kom jy weer hier na toe. Afrikaans first language. Signing out.